Yes, let's read something I can't read. These are Japanese Nintendo catalogs. I picked these up on eBay, and pretty much they just go over what's kind of the latest thing at the time of their release. And I think they're just kind of interesting to go through because, you know, while a good chunk of these are games, you know, we all know about, you know, not all of them are, like, you know, okay, what the fuck is this? And I think it's just interesting to see, like, alternative box art, maybe how a lot of these games were advertised in Japan. Games that, you know, again, what? So this one right here is pretty much holiday 2009, and this one right here, I would say is probably like fall or, you know, late summer of 2011. Let's pick our poison. What are we gonna waste our time with first? You know what? Let's go chronologically. 2009. What's interesting about these is that the front features like one console, and the back features another, pretty much making it so then, like, hey, if you want to see only the DS stuff, just flip it over to the back, and then it starts you off with all the DS stuff. And, you know, this one starts with all the Wii stuff. So might as well talk about Wii first and foremost. We have New Super Mario Bros. Wii being advertised here. All right, so around this time, the Wii actually got a price drop, and we're seeing the elusive black Wii. I say elusive because this was in kind of like a weird little, like, time frame, because you can see, this isn't a Wii Remote Plus. No, that is a standard-ass black Wii Remote. And I don't know, like, I think the standard black Wii Remotes without Wii Remote Plus added in, those are kind of hard to find, because those primarily hit it big when the Wii Remote Plus hit the scene, when, you know, the Wii Remote started to include Wii Motion Plus baked in. From what I remember, they kind of introduced the black Wii in like 2009, and then by 2010, they had like the Wii Remote Plus, so there really wasn't a large time frame where there was just standard black Wii Remotes without Wii Motion Plus baked in on store shelves. Of course, why would you want a black Wii Remote without Wii Motion Plus baked in? I have no goddamn idea, but they exist. Here they're advertising a price drop, it seems. I believe the general way I convert Japanese yen to USD is just kind of take the comma, turn it into like a decimal point, just move it a place or so. 25,000 ends up being like 250, which was the price point I remember the Wii being initially, and they're pretty much saying it's dropped down to 20,000, which is about $200, which yeah, you know, that roughly translates to the price drop the Wii experienced around that time here in North America as well. And yeah, they're advertising New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Damn, this was a huge game at the time. Of course, playing it now, you know, it's a very, you know, vanilla Mario game. But, you know, hey, when it first released, this was like the first brand new traditional home console 2D Mario game since like Super Mario World. And on top of that, it included simultaneous 4-player multiplayer, which was just a big thing. I remember playing like Super Mario Brothers on the NES, Super Mario Brothers 3, and selecting 2-player mode, and always being a little bummed out. It was like alternating, like you couldn't play both at the same time during the normal game. So, you know, this was a big deal for multiple reasons. Here they're advertising all the different Wii Remote colors out. I didn't realize they actually had blue and pink Wii Remotes out at the time. A very interesting color selection for the standard Wii Remotes. The fact that, you know, we only had white for the longest time, and then they introduced like black, pink, and blue, and that's pretty much it. I mean, there were other color releases. Red was one, but, you know, red was kind of weird. Here in North America, it was kind of relegated to like Mario bundles for the Wii. But I do know in Japan they did offer red Wii Remotes by themselves. But I also remember it, like E3 2005, when they first revealed the Wii as the Nintendo Revolution. They showed this giant slate of like all of these different colored Wiis. They were like, here are the colors we are considering. One was like neon green. I'm like, where the hell did these colors go? They're just showing off all the different power-ups and how you control the game just with the Wii Remote on its side, which it was a very novel way to play Wii games back then. You know, it was very cool to be like, oh man, flip the Wii Remote on its side, and it's a more traditional controller. It's bringing you back to the NES days. I don't like playing games like that. With the Wii Remote on its side, I mean, like, I'm just like, this, I don't like the D-pad of the Wii Remote. And so many 2D games that you control with the Wii Remote like that, you have to use like all these unnecessary motion controls randomly. Like in New Super Mario Bros. Wii, when you do the twirl, you have to shake the damn Wii Remote. I'm like, come on, man. It's far from unplayable. It's perfectly fine. I just don't really care about playing 2D platformers with the Wii Remote on its side much. But yeah, New Super Mario Bros. Wii was the big holiday title for 2009, right alongside Wii Fit Plus. I believe this launched like earlier in the fall of 2009, and they offered it for like $20 by itself, primarily because it was kind of just a standalone expansion pack for Wii Fit. Kind of just what Wii Fit should have been initially. I mean, Wii Fit was like this massive game at the time, you know, like you had all these different Wii games that were just like the Wii itself. Like, remember how the Wii was like impossible to find? You'd go to stores and they'd be like, nope, there's no Wiis available. We just got them in this morning, and everybody bought them. And a couple of games for the Wii were just like the console itself, where they were like impossible to find. It was like Mario Kart Wii and Wii Fit. Wii Fit was impossible to find. And I remember my family saw Wii Fit one day and we just bought it. We were like, oh my God, well, there it is. We gotta buy it. And I did really enjoy Wii Fit. It was a lot of fun. There were a lot of really fun mini games here to use with the balance board. But that's pretty much all I did with Wii Fit was just play the mini games. I didn't really do the fitness portion of it. And honestly kind of stunk as a fitness tool. I do think something like Ring Fit Adventure on the Switch is far better at actually like helping you maintain a fitness regimen and also incorporating video game elements with a workout. The most fun aspects of Wii Fit are not really a workout. They help you with balance, but that's about it. But I still have a soft spot for Wii Fit, and I would say obviously the definitive version is Wii Fit Plus, because it is literally just Wii Fit Plus. I guess here's like a bunch of like questions and answers, maybe I'm not sure. But we go over here and we just have more Wii Fit Plus. What a surprise. Here we go. Wii Sports Resort. The Japanese box art is really cool. You know, they have kind of like a porthole right here. And you just see like this key art of like all these different activities. We didn't really get this here in North America. The box art for North America was just like a collage of different screenshots. Kind of felt like they were just trying to mimic the original Wii Sports box art. Yeah, I mean, this definitely shows kind of the personality of Wii Sports Resort a lot better. Wii Sports Resort is interesting because, like, for a game with, you know, such little personality, it also has a ton of personality. The Wii series is so weird because of that. It's meant to be, like, so generic, but it's also, like, not generic because they try to be generic. I don't know, it has its own feel because it tried to be, like, you know, oh, we're just basic bitch, here's some Miis on an island. Like, there's no reason why Woohoo Island should have that much personality, because it's just meant to be like a generic island, but it's also not a generic island. It's really damn hard to explain. But yeah, this one launched in the summer of 2009. So, you know, I mean, obviously Wii Sports Resort, the sequel to, like, you know, the biggest Wii game out there, you know, obviously, even though this is kind of a few months old at the time of this catalog, you know, they're still going to be promoting it. Right alongside Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games. Oh boy! Also showed the DS version right there as well. Yeah, it's kind of hard for me to get really that into these games. I got really enamored by the release of the first one. I was like, oh my God, that sounds incredible. And I played it and I did enjoy it, but yeah, I kind of just stopped after that. My Christmas wish lists back in the day would usually include the latest and greatest major Wii games that released by Nintendo. So I'm sure in 2009, 2010, Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games was on my wish list, but I didn't get it. I never got it. And actually playing it these days, I respect the quality increase from the original. This is a pretty good minigame collection. But that's just the problem. It's literally just a minigame collection. And these games, I always feel like could be so much more. They could have so much more to do in them, but they just miss that bar. But this is definitely like one of the better ones, right alongside the London 2012 game on Wii as well. Here we have Poke Park Wii. I don't really care about Poke Park Wii. I do find it interesting. I think this released in 2010. in North America. So I believe this launched like a full year prior in Japan, which is interesting. Pretty crazy how strict they were about Pokemon having like, oh, like on the home consoles, we're only doing party game spin-off nonsense. The handhelds, that's where the true Pokemon experience belongs. And I'm like, I get it, but it's also like, it's just so weird that it felt like Pokemon genuinely just did not care about what they were putting out on home consoles that much. And then for some reason during the GameCube days, they just went really hard on trying to get people to buy a GameCube. So with Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness, I just kind of feel like they made that look like a traditional Pokemon game. Like it looks like the box art and just the name and all of that stuff just feel like you're meant to look at that and be like, oh, that's a traditional Pokemon game. But no, it's like an RPG set in the Pokemon world, but it's not a traditional Pokemon RPG. It's weird. And you know what? Poke Park is weird too. Based off of a theme park or something? I don't know. Here we have two Japanese exclusive games. This one is published by Nintendo, and I've never seen this game before. Seems like a trivia game or something, like some kind of game show type thing. They have like these years shown off with like different logos. Like it almost looks like this is like, oh, this is like certain shows that were airing at this time or something. Like, this seems like it's almost the equivalent of Family Feud Decades on the Wii, where it's like, oh man, play through the different decades of Family Feud. To me, this seems like it's play through the different eras of a certain Japanese game show. That's just what I'm getting from this. Now, this is a face I recognize. This is definitely a very long-standing Japanese game series. I don't know the name, but it's done by Hudson Soft. And I've definitely seen this on multiple other game consoles, but yeah, I don't know much about this one. There are Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, the Crystal Bearers. This was one of the handful of Final Fantasy games on the Wii. The only one that I have really anything to say about is the one that's literally like a direct port of the DS game, where it's literally a Wii game that you put in, and then it has like the two DS screens. That is weird. I have never seen that before in my life. Tales of game for the Wii. Here we have Samurai Warriors 3. This one was kind of cool because it had a bit more involvement from Nintendo, where Nintendo actually published that game here in North America, and it included Takamaru from the Mysterious Murasame Castle, which was, you know, an old Famicom game that, you know, has been referenced by Nintendo a fair amount. He's an assist trophy in Smash Brothers, and you have the Takamaru's Ninja Castle minigame in Nintendo Land. And they actually finally released the game in North America on the 3DS Virtual Console. You can also play it on the NES app on Nintendo Switch Online. But that character is a playable character in this game, and they also have like a full-blown Murasame Castle mode, which is pretty crazy. That is a really cool thing. And for some reason, like, that character gets like so much love, and you know, that game continues to get so much love, even though it was only like one game on the Famicom, never released outside of Japan. But you know, like that game has transcended generations and has received a lot of love in kind of unconventional ways, which is pretty neat. Oh my god, we have a Taiko Drum Master Wii game, Taiko no Tetsujin. Pretty much all of these are like practically the same to me. I own a couple on the Wii U. I played the Wii U games, and I feel like most of the console releases usually have kind of like a couple of very unique songs. Like, I know like many of the Nintendo releases, each one generally has like a couple of cool like Nintendo exclusive songs. You get like a Mario song, Zelda song, Kirby song here and there. I know nothing about this Wii release right here, but it's great to know that the drum still looks the exact goddamn same across pretty much every release. You have Joy Sound Wii, which I believe there was a Joy Sound release on like Wii U as well. It's just karaoke, and I have heard that Japan loves karaoke. Which is weird that like this just refused to release here in North America. I believe like the Wii U version released in Europe. Who knows? Maybe this Wii release actually released outside of Japan as well in other regions. But you know, hey, me for not knowing much about Joy Sound. Monster Hunter Tri here, that was a big deal. This was kind of the start of the Monster Hunter series being, you know, more of a Nintendo exclusive thing. Originally, it was like, you know, a PlayStation 2 game, then made the jump over to like PSP, and then the Wii, and then 3DS for a while there, till we got like Monster Hunter World, which, you know, kind of broadened the scope to PS4 and Xbox One. But then they did Monster Hunter Rise as like a Nintendo Switch timed exclusive, which is really cool and really odd to see that nowadays. You don't see a ton of series like that anymore. Do like, oh yeah, you have one entry and then the follow-up entry is on lesser hardware. But I thought Capcom did a damn good job with Monster Hunter Rise, and kind of that relationship with Nintendo started off with Monster Hunter 3 over on the Wii. This kind of got them to do the Wii Classic Controller Pro. You know, that was originally bundled with this game right here, which, hey, they're showing that off here. I guess these are kind of meant to be like, hey, look at our hardcore games right here. Winning 11, this is just PES, right? I think this is PES, like the soccer game from Konami. I did not know it was apparently called this in Japan. Damn, we got Sin and Punishment Star Successor here. What a wild game that actually got localized in North America. You know, this era of Nintendo, like, this is the kind of game that, like, I would have never expected to leave Japan, but it did. It did. Originally an N64 game, and then 10 years later, they make a Wii sequel, and it's really damn good. Sin and Punishment is a great on-rail shooter. It's like one of the best on-rail shooters you can find. The Wii game is fantastic. It's a miracle it ever happened. But yeah, really cool to see that here. Unfortunately, it has such a small portion in this catalog when whatever, Joy Sound gets a full-ass page. Valhalla Knights Elder Saga. I don't know. Yeah, I also have absolutely nothing to say about these two right here either. All right, we got Puyo Puyo 7 here, and this series just didn't leave Japan for a while. Like, I think the last one they even put out here for a good bit was like Puyo Pop Fever on like the GameCube and PS2 and Xbox and all that. Don't quote me on this, but I think like it took until Puyo Puyo Tetris or something to get Puyo Puyo in North America again. We have Okami here, which is interesting. I'm not really sure if, like, I didn't really realize, like, did the Wii port of Okami, like, take a while to come out in Japan? Yeah, apparently the Wii version of Okami in Japan came out in 2009. Which is really strange. I mean, first off, I think it's strange that that game was originally like a PS2 exclusive, just because like I associate it so much with the Wii. You know, it just feels right at home on the Wii, especially with the motion controls and the celestial brush. So not only the Wii version being a port is weird to me, the fact that it came out later in Japan is even weirder. Here we have this Konami dance mat game. I don't think it's Dance Dance Revolution. Actually, like, I mean, it says it right here, but it could just be saying that, like, oh, it uses the Dance Dance Revolution mat. But I have no idea, because none of this really looks like actually Dance Dance Revolution, but it's made by Konami, and it comes with the mat. And furthermore, I don't know what the hell this is. Oh, damn. Okay, so Rabbids Go Home. That's kind of funny to see, like, a Japanese cover for that game. It's just interesting to see them with the Japanese boxer. I don't know why. But Rabbids Go Home is actually, like, probably the best thing the Rabbids were ever a part of outside of, like, Mario and Rabbids. Here we have some kind of fitness game. It also uses kind of like a you know, dance mat looking thing. Here's some game by Sega. I don't know. It's so weird to look at a lot of these Japanese exclusive Wii games because I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, seriously, what is this? Full Metal Alchemist? I don't know. Beyblades? I don't know. I have two EA titles here, both kind of like Wii versions of, you know, pre-existing series like Need for Speed Nitro. You know, that was like a made-for-Wii version of Need for Speed. Same with Dead Space Extraction, pretty much being like an on-rail shooter version of Dead Space that was initially exclusive to the Wii. I believe there was like a PlayStation 3 port of it later on. Oh, and damn, these are getting even less space. We have My Sims Agents, which is probably like the best best actual My Sims video game experience. It's probably like not a great like My Sims or sim game because it's kind of a flat out adventure game with some like point and click elements. I would say like My Sims Kingdom is probably the best like actual like My Sims game. Or My Sims Asian is probably just the best flat out video game. Here's a hula dancing game. What? There's a cat game, a horror game, Sim Animals Africa. Damn, yeah, they just go all over the place with this. Like, they got Up. Up the video game in Japan, which has a pretty crazy cover art. We didn't get that cover art over here. I believe this is talking about all the different things you can get on the WiiShop channel. We can also see like a lot of the Japanese Wii channels here. So for example, there was like a photo service, I guess. And then this is like the food delivery service. We never got that here in North America, but through Homebrew, you can actually use it in English to order Domino's pizza, which is incredible. I love that that exists. You know what else I love that it exists? Uno. WiiWare Uno, baby. This is talking about a bunch of the WiiWare games you can pick up. Dr. Mario Online RX. There's WarioWare DIY Showcase. I believe this is like a zoo game by Hudson Soft. I probably have played it, I just forget the name of it. That's the thing, like WiiWare, I have so many memories of WiiWare. There's so many like pretty cool games on WiiWare, but this is definitely the era where, yeah, I mean like the quality of games you were getting on this service were pretty low. There are some cool experiences for sure, but most of the stuff you would get on WiiWare or DSiWare specifically, like my lord, DSiWare just had bottom of the barrel trash. Just very minimal games, just not a lot of content to any of these things. But here we have like a full-blown list of a bunch of different ones, like Gradius Rebirth is right there. Oh, Joy Sound again, look at that. Tetris Party, that was probably like one of the best games you could probably get on WiiWare because Tetris Party is just a flat out pretty damn good Tetris game. I believe this is like Final Fantasy IV, like the After Years, I think that was the title. Bit Trip Void, Mega Man 9, that's probably like up there as like one of the best WiiWare games in my opinion. See, there's Bomberman on WiiWare. Oh man, there's the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon games on WiiWare. Yeah, there were 3 of them. Pretty much like there was a Japanese exclusive Pokemon Mystery Dungeon game that used like the Pokemon Rumble 3D models. And then there were like 3 separate versions of it, kind of like how, you know, there's like 2 versions of Pokemon games and whatnot. Very strange. This combines 2 of my least favorite things, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon and Pokemon Rumble. This is like a WiiWare version of like the Very Hungry Caterpillar. Okie dokie. Oh, so cool. Here's the virtual console section. Shows all the different systems available. You have Famicom, Super Famicom, N64, Genesis, PC Engine, Neo Geo, Master System, MSX, which we never got MSX games on the virtual console outside of Japan. Then Virtual Console Arcade. I think that was kind of like an interesting thing Nintendo was pushing for a bit there. Just like having like flat out original arcade releases on Virtual Console, which wasn't really supported all too much, to be honest. Like it only got probably like 20 or so games. Just go over a couple of heavy hitters here. Like, you know, you have Mario 3, Kirby's Adventure. I believe that's Famicom Wars. Actually, no, it might be the original Fire Emblem. I think it's the original Fire Emblem. It's definitely the original Fire Emblem. Final Fantasy, you got Mega Man. Really cool to just see everything all right here. Super Famicom, got a lot of the same, same kind of stuff there. Oh man, this is neat. You just get a bunch of different things on each of the systems. I believe that's Custom Robo on the N64, which, you know, we only got Custom Robo here on the GameCube and DS. We got a game on the DS, but yeah, you know, that originated as an N64 game, which also means like we didn't get this version released here in North America. Like that never released on Virtual Console for us. N64 was kind of an often neglected system on the Virtual Console services. Like we only got like 20 or something games on Wii Virtual Console, and pretty much we got the exact same amount released on Wii U Virtual Console. But thankfully on Switch Online, that's when they kind of kicked themselves into gear and they actually started to release like a lot more titles. They, you know, made deals with other third parties, gave us the things we were waiting for, you know, like Iggy's Wrecking Balls, Mega Drive, PC Engine, Neo Geo. Really cool to see everything here. Virtual Console Arcade, very neat. So, you know, you got the original Space Invaders. I actually don't know if that released on Virtual Console Arcade in North America. We got Space Harrier from Sega. I think that's Tower of Druaga, a Splatterhouse. Virtual Console Arcade kind of felt like it was Nintendo's way to, I guess, like compete with Xbox Live Arcade and whatnot, and to offer more unique retro gaming experiences on the Wii Shop channel, because, you know, it probably got to the point, especially by 2009, they kind of already released most of the heavy hitters for all of like the mainline systems. So Virtual Console Arcade was definitely kind of a cool idea, but they really didn't like do much with it, in my opinion. Here they're showing like you know, the Nintendo points card. This was when you know, they changed it from Wii points card to Nintendo points when the DSi came out with the DSi shop. Here they're showcasing all the different Wii channels you can get. I believe this was like Wii No Ma, which was like a video on demand service. Never got that. I think this was like a photo printing service. They had a lot of Wii channels exclusive to Japan. A lot of cool stuff that I think would have been badass to get over here, especially like the video on demand service. Closest we kind of got to that was, you know, I mean, they eventually did Netflix and Hulu and Amazon. Netflix at least came out during kind of like, you know, the peak of the Wii era. I think Hulu and Amazon Prime and YouTube apps came out like way too late. Like those came out like after the Wii U already launched. The Nintendo channel, I spent a lot of time on this one. You know, just a very cool way to watch like different trailers for Wii and DS games, 3DS games coming out. They had the Nintendo like week, I believe it was called, like this show, which was just a bunch of like really lame ass skits, but I loved them. But they would actually announce some games through that. So, you know, you'd go on the Nintendo channel on the Wii, watch the latest entry in Nintendo Week, and, you know, they announced like Excite Bike World Rally for the WiiWare on there. They had some definitely really cool ideas. I love the synergy behind a lot of the stuff with the Wii and DS era. Felt like Nintendo was really firing at all cylinders, and it felt like this was like a genuine like empire back then. Here we have like the Wii internet browser, the internet channel. I really like that. I remember using that a lot to watch YouTube videos on TV, because YouTube was one of the very few websites that actually worked and ran fine on the internet channel, which was a godsend, because like there was like no other reason to use it. There was a lot of internet channel specific websites you could go to play like games made for the internet channel, and these were all like fan creations. Nintendo didn't endorse any of this, but there were like websites people made that would work well with the internet channel, that would play like certain videos, music. You could play certain games. Definitely really cool. But back then it cost like $5 to download. I think eventually they made it free. I'm just like, come on, man. $5 for a shitty internet browser? Yeah, it works on my TV. That's awesome in 2008 or whatever. But come on. I think this is talking about like sending people stuff on like the Wii message boards, or like gifting them Wii points or Wii games. That's a feature that I think is crazy, that hasn't really come back with Nintendo stuff specifically. How like you could gift your friends like Wii Shop channel games, which I'm like, why can't I still do that? Damn, they're really going hard with a lot of like the internet stuff. How you know, you can use the USB Ethernet connector, or you can use like this AOSS thing, which I didn't know what this is. Is this genuinely just a Wi-Fi router? I remember the Wii helped me figure out what the hell Wi-Fi was, because I was desperately trying to figure out like how to connect my Wii online, and there was like an option for like AOSS, and I'm like, oh, we'll try that, even though I didn't even have a Wi-Fi router. I was just desperately crossing my fingers that somehow, some way, it would connect online. I had to go through a lot of trial and error to connect my Wii online, and I finally did, damn it. It was incredible. Here they're just kind of going over a bunch of different like buying options and accessories available. This is pretty interesting. Color-coded Wii wrist straps, which I've actually never seen these. I've never seen separate, you know, color-coded Wii wrist straps in this packaging or anything. Ooh, the black nunchuck. That's another kind of wacky little thing. I'm not actually sure. Have they ever done blue and pink nunchucks? I don't think they've ever done that. The Wii Classic Controller Pros. I actually like went a little crazy with these back in 2010, 2011 with my Wii. I wanted to get a bunch of them. So, you know, like I actually like would save up and use my allowance money to buy new Wii Classic Controller Pros. To play with, like, absolutely nobody. I had nobody to play these games with, but I really wanted, you know, a black one and a white one, and I bought a used gold one that I found at GameStop. And then they have the OG Classic Controller right here, still available. There's like a $2 difference. You're telling me these, like, little chicken thighs cost only $2? I think it's important that these are offered separately because, like, you know, like the Classic Controller Pro, I think is a better controller, but I think the Wii Classic Controller Original does have its place, you know, like this does kind of mimic a Super Nintendo controller fairly well, whereas this is kind of like, hey, if you actually just want to play like a more modern game, I guess. Because this thing stinks for modern games. The thumbsticks are literally like your thumbs will be like literally like button heads. Here we have the Wii Motion Plus adapters that you could buy. Again, the black one here is definitely a little harder to find. Like, you know, like how many people actually bought like a black Wii Remote and then a black Wii Motion Plus? The different connectors here. Definitely a lot of weird boys around here. I primarily just used AV here. And then this is like going, you know, like if you want the best of the best. Wii branded SD cards. I still think like this kind of stuff is like the biggest scam on the planet. If you're literally buying like a Nintendo Switch branded micro SD card or whatever, and it has like a little Nintendo branded thing, like it has a little Mario mushroom on it, what the hell? Why are you doing that? It's more expensive, and just because it has like unique branding on it, who the hell cares? You're not going to be seeing your micro SD card. It's going to be in your system. Oh, Wii Speak, man, that was a bust, wasn't it? Came out with Animal Crossing City Folk, and Nintendo kind of pushed it like it was going to be this big thing, and barely anything ever used it. I think like 10 games used Wii Speak. It's pretty nuts. You had like the Wii Speak channel, which allowed you to like voice chat with your friends. But I think the only way you could get it is if you owned a Wii Speak. So, you know, by the time I actually had a Wii Speak, the Wii Shop channel was gone, so I never got a chance to use the Wii Speak channel. Wii Zapper, I've never been a big fan of the Wii Zapper. I think it takes way too long to get everything hooked up with it, and like the feel of it is fine, but like I would just rather play with the Wii Remote and Nunchuck in my normal hands. Wii Wheel, kind of like a Wi-Fi adapter, like the AOS thing, Ethernet adapter, and looks like a cleaning kit. For the Wii, which I wonder how many people actually like utilize stuff like that. Like, I'm sorry, but your system must have gotten absolutely fucked up for you to have to use that. All right, and then that's the end of the Wii section of this catalog, but we have a whole other thing right here showcasing Nintendo DS stuff. So might as hell as well. This is showing off the DSi and DSi XL. We are full-blown into the DSi era. And only a couple months later, you know, like springtime 2010, I believe that's when Nintendo formally announced that they were working on a successor with the 3DS. They announced it via like a press release, and then at E3 2010 in June, they fully announced like this is what the 3DS is and all of that. But the DS still had like a pretty big life ahead of it. You know, as late as like 2012, you know, they were releasing Pokemon Black and White 2. Well, let's take a look at this. I believe this is like Nintendo released like some calligraphy training software. So you know, this shows you how to write kanji, I believe. And then Spirit Tracks. Spirit Tracks was kind of their big DS game for 2009. So opening this up, yep, they're focusing on the DSi XL, which, yeah, I think like, you know, late 2009, this released in Japan. And then I believe like sometime in 2010, it came out in North America. And the DSi XL is such an interesting beast because, you know, I remember when this was brand new, and it was such a weird little thing for my baby brain to understand because, like, yeah, like this just felt odd. Like, why do I want my DS to be bigger? The way they advertise this thing is very much kind of like, oh, it's for old people. In reality, I think a lot of people ended up getting a DSi XL and was like, wow, like I really like this. This is just way better. It's way nicer to just have like a bigger DS. The screens are much bigger. It's way easier to see everything. It feels better in the hands. DSi XL might just be like the definitive DS if you don't really care about playing GBA games, which the DSi models can't do. But even look at the colors, dark brown and wine red. It's actually pretty interesting that they're naming a color after wine with the DS. That shows they were definitely going for an older audience with these models. But they're kind of going over like spec differences. All in all, the DSi XL is genuinely pretty much just a bigger DSi. The only major difference that I can even think of is the outside of it is glossy. The inside is still like a regular like matte finish, but you also get like the fountain pen. And oh damn, is this a DSi XL too? It looks like it because it comes with the fountain pen. I don't think I've actually ever seen a white DSi XL. Here they are focusing on Spirit Tracks. I believe this was kind of the big holiday title for 2009. And I haven't gotten super into any of the DS Zelda games, but the way most people talk about it these days, it's kind of good that I haven't. From what I've played and from what I've heard, I don't think these are bad games at all. It's just kind of down to like, they were kind of a little too designed for the DS. And, you know, as DS experiences, as little DS tech demos, as games that utilize the hardware, they're great. As standalone Zelda games, that's not what a lot of people want out of Zelda games. Oh well, I mean, like here we have Professor Layton. I believe this is the last Spectre. I really love Professor Layton. I think this is just a lovely game series. When I first played Professor Layton in the Curious Village, I just thought the production values were off the freaking charts. So damn cool. You have like these full-blown animated cutscenes, and then the puzzles felt like just like genuine, like really well done, like timeless puzzles. It's very special. You know, there's something very, very special about Professor Layton, but oh my God, there's something even more special about Tomodachi Collection. This is so weird to see Tomodachi on the DS, but this is where it originated. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty much spot on with how the 3DS game is. Kind of makes me feel like the 3DS game is just kind of like, let's do Tomodachi Collection from the DS again on the 3DS. Like this is all so damn similar. I would have loved this thing as a kid. Like if they actually put this out in English, I would have loved it. It kind of bums me out that they waited to the 3DS game, but you know, I love Tomodachi Life on the 3DS. But this is so weird. I mean, just seeing like Mii's on the DS is really damn interesting. And the fact like all this Mii Maker stuff, the text-to-speech slider, like all of this like is still there in the DS game. Really damn impressive that they did this on the DS. Let me focus on Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games on the DS, which again, I've also heard this one is pretty good. I believe this one has like a flat out story mode. Pretty cool. They really gave a damn about this series in the middle of its existence and absolutely nowhere else. The beginning of it stunk and the end of it stunk. All right, here we have Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver with the Poke Walker. I think this is generally considered like probably like one of the best Pokemon games ever. I mean, like you have not only its Gold and Silver, but a remake of it. And, you know, that's all I really know. I mean, I've just heard that Heart Gold and Soul Silver is one of the best. I got nothing else, man. Oh, Inazuma 11? Yeah, I kind of forgot for a second that this was a DS series. This was huge. It's like a soccer RPG. So, you know, they're talking about it right here. Had two versions, like a dual release, kind of like Pokemon. And then you have Dragon Quest 9. It kind of follows the Monster Hunter thing for me, where it's like, it is very interesting that you know, you have Dragon Quest 8 on the PS2, and then the next game, which is Dragon Quest 9, on the DS. It's like, okay, we're going up, but we're going down at the same time. Here we have that Konami baseball series that's everywhere. It's kind of like that game on the Wii that I was saying, like, I remember this thing. I know this one. This is like all over the place in Japan, but it like barely ever hits the North America. Oh, we got Mega Man Star Force, or Battle Network. Actually, yeah, this is Battle Network. Oh my God, I was about to say, because this reminds me of like the first game. I never actually realized that like there is pretty much like a Japan only like remake, remaster of it for the DS. I never realized that. All right. Oh my God. This is a bunch of stuff. Look at this. Tamagotchis. More Beyblades, I believe. Oh, huh. Who? Again, FBI. What the hell is this? I had to look this up. So this is a game made by Sing, like C-I-N-G. They made a couple of bigger DS games with Nintendo, like Hotel Dusk, Trace Memory, or Another Code. I've never heard of this game, but it did release in North America. It was just called Again. Yeah, that's wild. I've never known about that game, but just seeing like just real pictures of people, I'm like, what is this? I have Rune Factory 3. I at least know about that. Blue Dragon, the Blue Dragon DS game. Yeah, Blue Dragon was like a game Microsoft pushed as like an Xbox 360 exclusive. You know, it's one of those games that like Microsoft does own. There is copyright for Microsoft here. But back during the DS, like they did a couple of like, hey, like these are Microsoft IPs, but they put them out on the DS because Microsoft wasn't doing a handheld. You know, I'm immediately thinking of Viva Pinata Pocket Paradise. You know, that's a Microsoft IP, but they were like, yeah, we'll do a DS version. Here we go with a bunch more games that I gotta be honest, I don't think I've seen any of these ever. That's a no. Damn, that is wild. I'm pretty damn impressed. I don't know anything here. Let's see if the next page continues the tradition. Oh, son of a bitch. Yeah, I know that shit. It's Cooking Mama 3. We also have Deca Sports, which was kind of like a weird, like, you know, Hudson Soft developed that. It's kind of like, was like, I guess their trial run of just trying to see if they can get some of that Wii Sports money. So they put one out on the DS. You know, whatever. I was about to ask if this is like, is this like Disney Friends? I remember that being kind of like a pet simulator thing they released on the DS, but I'm only seeing like Lilo and Stitch stuff here, so like I have no idea. 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors. I know that's one of the best visual novels out there. Here we have the Nintendo Zone stuff, which I only remember Nintendo Zone from the 3DS, so you know, they actually had this going on with the DS back then. Where you could go to McDonald's and get just stuff. Just bring your DS, like go into Download Play or something and just get something. I don't know. I don't really think I ever utilized Nintendo Zone. I remember there being like some Best Buy promotions with it or what the hell ever. But Nintendo Zone, I remember that being like one of the free downloads you could get for your 3DS. I just downloaded it because I'm like, well, it's free. So I remember staring at the icon, but just doing nothing with it because like I never really took my 3DS anywhere. But I did utilize DSiWare. Oh boy, did I. They definitely pushed DSiWare a lot for how crappy most of the games on it were. Most of the games they put out here were kind of just based on pre-existing titles. So, you know, we have Mario vs. Donkey Kong, Minis March Again. I'm always worried I'm getting the titles wrong because literally like every single one of these game titles like involve marching minis, whatever. And this is like its own game, but it's so heavily based on Mario vs. Donkey Kong 2. Like, it's just like, I don't know. I mean, it is cool. I think like the whole point of, you know, them just kind of repurposing old software, whether it's like just using old assets or just flat out like cutting up games and just re-releasing them as like smaller bite-sized like little bits, because that's what they did straight up. Like they re-released like Clubhouse games in 3 separate games. They were all just like variations of the full Clubhouse games package, just with, you know, like just a handful of games included. But I feel like they did that just because, you know, back then, you know, hey, why not? You know, if you really love Clubhouse games, you can download Clubhouse Games Express, and you can have a, you know, a version of that game always available on your system. So I guess it made sense back then. But, you know, looking at DSiWare in retrospect, like, man, there's just a bunch of crap on this service. Like Dr. Mario Express, that's okay, but that's just, you know, it's just Dr. Mario. There's nothing special about that version. And then you have like stuff like Animal Crossing Clock, like Mario Calculator. Like, they're kind of cute, but like there's nothing to them, man. Here they're going after a lot of the same stuff of just telling you like how to connect online. And then they also show like a lot of the colors they have available. I always wanted the white DSi, but I got the black one. And you know, overall, I think I like the red one these days. And when it comes to DSi XLs, I don't know, wine red. Why the hell not? And that right there is the 2009 Japanese Nintendo catalog. Definitely a lot in here. Really does show like, you know, what was kind of going on, especially in Japan, for Nintendo that holiday season. You can kind of tell, like, things are wrapping up for the DS. Not a massive ton going on here. Wii-wise, though, I mean, like, you have a big heavy-hitting title with New Super Mario Bros. Wii, and you have some heavy hitters like Wii Sports Resort, Wii Fit Plus. They don't include, like, everything here. Like, they don't talk about, like, the new Play Control series of games. I know that was, like, you know, released in 2009, at least here in North America. Punch-Out for Wii, released in 2009. But overall, this gives you a pretty good idea of what it was like to be depressed in 2009. So how about 2011? This is mainly going over the Nintendo 3DS and some of the Wii stuff, which, yeah, by 2011, things were definitely slowing down for the Wii. That is pretty cool. I didn't realize when I got this catalog that, you know, they kept the same format between this and the other one that, you know, we just took a look at. But let's take a look at this. 2011 was the launch year of the 3DS, so, you know, a lot of stuff was going on. Here they're showing a flame red 3DS. I always really wanted that color, and I finally got it, you know, a couple years ago. I really bit the bullet on, like, a brand new sealed flame red 3DS, and I had that model modded for capture output, which probably not my smartest move, considering then, you know, like, I'm probably going to be using it the most, and it's probably going to get beaten up the most. But, you know, I've taken good care of my little baby, and I do love my flame red 3DS. Thank you very much. They're showing off a lot of the stuff available, you know, within the first couple of months of the system, most notably Ocarina of Time 3D, which came out in, like, June of 2011. Star Fox released, I believe, in, like, August, September of that year. If I squint, I think that's like a One Piece game. Nintendogs Plus Cats was a launch title, and I believe Nintendo was really thinking Nintendogs Plus Cats was gonna be like a big killer app for the 3DS. It was not. Nintendogs had its time in the spotlight on the DS for sure. I really loved Nintendogs when I was a kid. But have you played Nintendogs lately? There's nothing to that game. And that's even like playing Nintendogs Plus Cats, like there's nothing to this game. So you go back to the DS one and it's like, my God, this game is so boring. It's really great in the eyes of a child, especially when, like, you know, you actually treat it like, oh my God, I have a little puppy in my pocket. But playing it these days, like, God, there's nothing to it. I would love Nintendogs to come back. But my God, like, they need to do something. Tales of the Abyss, I didn't realize that was like a 2011 title in Japan. I think that came out in 2012 in North America. Yeah, it came out in June of 2011 in Japan. And you know, we had to wait until February of 2012 to get it over here. But thankfully, we had Pokemon Rumble Blast to keep us on the edge of our seats. I hate Pokemon Rumble. Let's dive in. All right, interesting. So, okay, so it's called Flare Red in Japan. And here are the two launch colors, Aqua Blue and Cosmo Black. And it still had the original price point, $250. So I guess this was like a little before the price drop, which hit around like late summer of 2011, like I think like early August or so. And here I think they're kind of showing how, you know, you can take 3D pictures with the 3DS, which was a very cool prospect. I really liked that idea until actually using the 3DS camera, which sucks. The pictures are 3D, I'll give it that. But I never wanted to use it ever again after using it like a couple of times. Pokemon Rumble Blast here. At least like this version is like fine, I guess, especially compared to like, you know, the Pokemon Rumble U or whatever, but like still like Pokemon Rumble is just such a mindless game. Like I'm like, whatever. As the very first Pokemon game on 3DS, it's pretty embarrassing. It's the kind of game that like it really thrives on being like one of the only options you have for like software to play on your handheld. So like during 2011 when the 3DS was really struggling to just have like anything to do, that's when Pokemon Rumble Blast was at its peak, was when you were like, fuck it, there's nothing else to play on this system, I'll buy Pokemon Rumble Blast. But we also have Ocarina of Time 3D. They also mentioned Skyward Sword down here. I'm not really sure. I believe they're telling you like, hey, if you want to see another Zelda game, turn to page 72. Oh, that's cool. That's like the Master Quest logo. So they're showing that like you can play the Master Quest in this version. Nintendogs Plus Cats. Yeah, why not? Did the Japanese versions have like slip covers with like, you know, like holes in them where they show you the dog and the cat? That's cool. Yeah, like I said, like I like Nintendogs. I think it's cute, and I have a lot of like love for it. I have nostalgia for it. But my God, there is nothing to do in that game. We have a One Piece game here. That's what I gotta say about that. Star Fox. Yeah, that's just the thing. Like, most of these are good games, but you know, for like the first couple of months of your system being out, you know, like when your biggest games are like 2 Nintendo 64 remakes, and then you also have Resident Evil: The Mercenaries 3D, which is definitely really cool. This is kind of like, I guess, a little taste of like Resident Evil on the 3DS, because, you know, you have this, and then in 2012 they launched Resident Evil Revelations, which was your big, like, full-blown Resident Evil game. And I think this did a good job showcasing, like, hey, like, yeah, you can have like some really great graphics on the 3DS. But, you know, Mercenaries is kind of just like a little arcade mode, you know. It's fun, you know, it's fun to replay. But, you know, it's not really like a full-fledged game. There was like a big controversy with this release because since it is more of like a high-score, like arcadey type of game, they wouldn't let you erase your save data. Like, it's impossible to erase your save data in the game. And a lot of people took that as kind of a deterrent to buy the game used, because you don't want to, you know, you want to start the game brand new. Well, you can't do that, damn it, in Resident Evil: The Mercenaries 3D. Which doesn't really matter that much, but, you know, that was kind of in the era where, like, you know, a lot of publishers were trying to find different ways to avoid used game sales increasing. They wanted people to buy them new. Okay, I had to look up what the hell either one of these games was, because I never heard of either one, which is crazy. I've never heard of this one. It at least launched outside of Japan. It's Dr. Lortrek and the Forgotten Knights, which I never heard of this, but, you know, like, the art style is really neat. And then this one, I never heard of before. It only released in Japan. It's like this spooky adventure game by Capcom called, like, Nazo Waku Yakata. I had to look all these up. I had to do like a little 3-minute Google sesh. I'm definitely interested in this one. This one seems kind of cool, though the reception on Wikipedia is called a little word called mixed. Of Devil Survivor and Dead or Alive Dimensions. That was kind of a you know, one of the bigger releases in the early 3DS days. Oh boy, we got the 3DS launch title Spectaculars, Pilot Wings Resort, and Steel Diver. Man, what the hell were they thinking? Pilot Wings Resort is, like, at least, like, a competent, pretty fun little game. That's just the thing. It's a fun little game. Feels like they found an excuse to make a Pilot Wings game by just reusing Wii Sports Resort assets, and that's what that is. Steel Diver is just... it's an experiment. That's what that feels like. Let's make a game about a submarine where, you know, you have to traverse a submarine through, like, tight corridors. And, you know, you can control it with the bottom touchscreen, but all the controls are delayed, so it's kind of like a weird little, like, puzzle reflex. I don't know. Who the hell cares? Professor Layton and the Miracle Mask. You know, this was actually a launch title for the 3DS in Japan, which I feel like if we got this as a launch title for the 3DS outside of Japan, I think the 3DS launch would have been, like, 10 times better. You get, like, a full-blown puzzle adventure game with that, but it took until like late 2012 to get this game outside of Japan, which is crazy to me. Buddy, are you seeing the Frogger 3D box art in Japan? Damn, that's making me feel something. I guess all these are like games that had already released, because right here we have a coming soon page. They show Kid Icarus Uprising, first 3DS game ever like shown off, which took a while to come out after that, you know, like early 2012 or so. Still probably the most impressive 3DS game. I mean, it is just jam-packed with content and just like high-quality polish. Really cool this ever happened. I mean, like, it's practically a brand new series, you know. It barely even like has anything to do with Kid Icarus, which at that point, you know, Kid Icarus was like, what, an NES game and a Game Boy game? So yeah, might as well do something new with it. Got Mario Kart 7 and Mario 3D Land. Originally just called like Mario Kart and Super Mario. And yeah, I remember it took a very long time for them to announce the titles of these things. It felt like they were like really just going like, what the hell do we call these things? When they announced that they titled Mario Kart for 3DS Mario Kart 7, I was dumbfounded. I was like, what? But no, they were really pushing these games to come out in 2011, especially with the 3DS struggling so bad in that first launch year. Like, they really needed these games to come out, and it's a good thing they did, you know, kind of like that 1-2 punch of Mario 3D Land releasing in like November of 2011, and Mario Kart 7 releasing like 1 month later in December. Really kicked the 3DS off and really made a difference. Here we have a little DS section because we got Kirby Mass Attack, which was kind of a surprise that, you know, this game got released, you know, after the 3DS launched. Kirby games usually tend to release like very late in the system's life, or, you know, after the successor already releases. I mean, on the 3DS, you had Kirby Planet Robobot in 2016. That was already kind of like, well, damn, you're really cutting it close. In 2017, they're like, oh, here's 2 new eShop games. It was like a Team Kirby Clash Deluxe and Kirby's Blowout Blast. And then they were like, oh yeah, now we're doing Kirby Battle Royale. Well, damn, isn't that a death sentence, saying your game system has Kirby Battle Royale on it? And then on top of that, in 2019, they do Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn. I'm like, well, damn, that is a nail in the coffin, saying your game system has Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn on it. Here we have more DS games coming out. You know, we have, I believe that's Gardening Mama. Then Puyo Puyo 20th Anniversary. Fucking Tinkerbell game. Cars 2. The Japanese version of Cars 2. That's an import I would love. The Japanese version of Cars 2 on DS. There's like this interesting Winnie the Pooh game, I guess. I guess it's like a storybook or something. I don't know. I'm really stretching the definition of interesting there, but still. Here they're discussing stuff like the eShop, web browser on the 3DS, system transfer from DSi to 3DS, going over like the 3D video services on the handheld. And oh yay, the eShop stuff. I love this kind of garbage. One of my favorite things during the early days of the 3DS was downloading a lot of these old Game Boy games, because this was like one of the first times that they really had these games re-released in any form. And there's something just so charming and fun looking back at old Game Boy stuff. Especially compared to NES stuff. I'd rather play old Game Boy crap than old NES stuff many times. They got Pokédex 3D, which was kind of their consolation prize for getting a 3DS, especially when like the Pokemon Black and White already released on the DS in like March of 2011. And then, you know, after that, they were still like, oh, you know, we're doing Pokemon Black and White 2 on the DS as well. Here they got a couple of the, you know, eShop exclusives on 3DS, which there really wasn't a ton that I remember in North America at this point in the 3DS's life. And I'm not really recognizing many of the stuff here. This looks like to me like that weird like family party series of games that was all over the WiiWare, because it was done by Arc System Works. There was like this weird ass go-kart game where like all the characters you could select were like members of the family. Like, I want to be dad. I don't know, just kind of strange. But they show off the 3D Classics line here. You know, I remember when they were pushing 3D Classics Excite Bike, when that was like completely free. You could just download that. 3D Classics Xevious, which Xevious wasn't really that big in North America, but apparently it's like this really beloved arcade game in Japan. I just remember playing it on like one of my Namco plug-and-plays back in the day. And then we have 3D Classics Urban Champion. I believe here they're saying how you can download most of the DSiWare games on the 3DS eShop, which was a really cool thing. You know, I think for the most part, they you know, like going into that next generation, you know, after the 3DS, you know, with PS4, Xbox One and everything, they probably would just be like, oh, screw it, we're not putting all the old downloadable games on the new shop. But Nintendo did that with DSiWare, which I think is really cool. I mean, they kind of did that with like Xbox One eventually, but they didn't put all of the Xbox 360, you know, Xbox Live Arcade games on the Xbox One or anything. Nintendo kind of went out of their way to get most of the DSiWare games on the 3DS eShop. Here they're just kind of going over some system setting nonsense. I don't really know what this, like, I guess this is just going over, like, the hardware. How this is like, oh, 3D screen, the 3D slider, a touch screen. How it came with the charging cradle, which was massive. That was so cool that it came included. I used that thing quite a bit. That was really cool. It made it feel like the 3DS was just a part of the family or part of the household or whatever. Yeah, this is interesting, showing the difference between 3DS software and DS software. It's pretty ingenious the way they figured out how to make sure that if you buy 3DS games, they won't work on a DS. Little tumor showing off all the included software. You know, as bad as the 3DS launch was, the system at the very least came with a bunch of junk to do within it. You know, you had AR games, Face Raiders, the Street Pass Me Plaza, a bunch of stuff, 3DS Sound. I think this is talking about Street Pass, how that worked. Never really got a ton out of Street Pass because I didn't really take my 3DS a ton of places. I really don't know what they're going on about at this point. Like, I think this is all about Street Pass still, because they just keep showing the same damn games over and over again. Oh, damn, a Q&A in Japanese. I don't know what the hell this is saying. To me, this reads, snip the cable while it's charging. See what happens. Yeah, this means nothing to me. I don't know why this is cool to see like 3D renders of the boxes like this. I remember the black 3DS box in North America, the background was noticeably more gray. And I think this looks a lot cooler. Shows everything they include here. The telescopic stylus, that was awesome. And, oh damn, look at this. Bunch of the same nonsense we already saw. Look, they had the red Wii remote on the red nunchuck. That's pretty cool. They're showing that like Wii Sports Resort is like a pack-in now in Japan. But yeah, I know Wii Sports wasn't a pack-in with the Wii in Japan, at least initially for a good long while. So, you know, if they actually included Wii Sports Resort as the pack-in later down the line, I think that's pretty interesting. Damn, we get 2 Wii remotes? That's like $200 there, which is actually, you know, this makes a lot of sense. You know, you get 2 Wii remotes with Wii Motion Plus built in alongside Wii Sports Resort. I remember getting Wii Sports Resort and desperately wanting to get another Wii Motion Plus adapter because like you had the island flyover minigame, but they had a dog fighting option. And I was like, oh, hot damn, we need to try that. That's like the worst goddamn game in that game. So weird because it's built off of the best minigame in that whole package. The island flyover is incredible. The dog fighting is dog. Most of this does seem pretty in line with the last catalog we took a look at. Here we have Skyward Sword. That was kind of the Wii's swan song, which is, you know, kind of lame considering, you know, the Wii U didn't come out until like a full year later. So here we have this incredible farewell to the Wii. A year before we were saying farewell to the Wii. I like Skyward Sword. I think at the time, you know, it got praise, but also a ton of criticism, especially, you know, in the years that followed. But I think the HD version on Nintendo Switch did definitely help to kind of like, you know, show off that Skyward Sword is in fact a good video game. Who would have thought? Damn, I really don't recognize like any of these things. I believe this is like the Japanese version of Power Rangers. Maybe. Like, I know Power Rangers is a localization of a completely separate show. At least I think. And who knows, this might not even be Power Rangers. I might just be completely talking out of my ass. Family Fishing. I've seen this box art before. I know nothing about this game, but apparently it comes with a little fishing rod thing. This actually looks pretty good. Like, you have the nunchuck attached and, you know, you crank it like an actual fishing rod. I've actually never seen that before. That's actually pretty cool. It turns out this is like the game of life. I didn't actually realize that. It says Hasbro and stuff and copyright Game of Life, and it has a little spinner thing. That's pretty interesting. Like, I've never seen anything that looks like this related to the Game of Life. Champion Jockey Gallop Racer. This is like a big Japanese franchise. I've seen so many Japanese games like Champion Jockey or horse betting or whatever. Considering it is 2011, it does seem like Nintendo's kind of relying on, you know, old reliable. A lot of the stuff we've already seen. We got Wii Fit Plus, Wii Sports Resort. Yeah, they're going over like a bunch of older games, stuff like Donkey Kong Country Returns, which, very interestingly, in Japan, it's only just Donkey Kong Returns. Ah, damn, I didn't realize that in Japan it had like a differently colored like Wii banner and all of that. That's pretty interesting. Got Mario Kart Wii, you know, that's always gonna be a mainstay. And then we have New Super Mario Bros. Wii, which the previous catalog already discussed. Wii Party. Wii Party was always a pretty fun little party game. You know, it kind of goes for quantity over quality when it comes to like the modes and mini games and all of that, but still pretty good. Here we have, oh, I actually own this. It's like the Dragon Quest Anniversary Collection, where I believe it was just 1, 2, and 3. At least, like, this is what that says. And, like, I got this because I thought it was interesting that this pretty much followed, like, the exact same format as, like, the Super Mario All-Stars 25th Anniversary Collection for the Wii, where it's just pretty much a collection of, like, ROMs on a Wii disc. If I had to guess, this portion right here is kind of just, like, a history lesson of Dragon Quest. Because, you know, you have 1, 2, and 3 for the Famicom. Then I believe this is a remake of 1 and 2 for the Super Famicom. And then, is that straight up, does that say Dragon Quest 3? Was there a Dragon Quest 3 remake on the Super Famicom? Damn, I guess there was. You see, I learn something new every day. I think I kind of remember 1 and 2 remake, but 3 remake on the Super Famicom. I mean, now it's starting to sound familiar, but it is pretty wild thinking that they pretty much like replicated this with the HD 2D remakes, where you get Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D remake, and then also Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D remake. That's pretty interesting. Oh yeah, GoldenEye 007. Look at that Japanese box art. That's wild. I think that's better than what we got here in North America. That's really cool. They have like a 2-page spread for this game. I wonder if this came out in like 2011 in Japan. I'm not actually sure. It seems that the Golden Classic Controller Pro might have been a Club Nintendo reward in Japan. I know here in North America, it was a special edition bundle with this game. But yeah, that is pretty interesting. I love GoldenEye 007 on the Wii. It is like the best first-person shooter, like an action first-person shooter on the Wii. I feel like what makes it so good is that it's made specifically for the Wii. It's not like a downgraded Xbox 360 game on there, which by comparison makes the Xbox 360 remaster of the Wii game feel kind of lame. It's like, okay, well, like this is a Wii game on Xbox 360. Doesn't feel as good, much like how an Xbox 360 game on Wii oftentimes feels a little, Here we got Epic Mickey. Yeah, I think some of these games were actually still coming out, I guess. I don't know. I'm not actually looking this up, so who knows? But yeah, it says August 4th, so I think that kind of implies, yeah, Epic Mickey still had yet to come out in Japan. This was a pretty big push for not only Disney, but Nintendo as well. You know, you have like this fully exclusive, like really elaborate new video game for Mickey Mouse. You know, it's kind of pushing him, trying to make something new out of the character. They tried to make him a little badass. I don't really know if it succeeded at making him badass. It's kind of Epic Mickey more so put him in kind of like a bit of a creepier setting. Definitely a very interesting game that, you know, is fairly high quality. It definitely had its problems. I remember the camera being an issue, and it's also one of those games that kind of overpromised and underdelivered. It kind of promised that, like, oh my god, with the magic paintbrush, and you also had thinner so you could create platforms or take things away, blah blah blah. And you know, it kind of boils down to, you know, when the game tells you to make a platform, make a platform. When the game tells you to take away something, take away something. You know, it wasn't really as unique or interesting as I think it was initially promised, but still a pretty decent game here. All right. Oh my god, it's Wii Play Motion. I didn't realize that. I looked at this box art. I was like, I have no idea what the hell this is. But no, it's Wii Play Motion. I remember when Wii Play Motion came out, IGN gave it like a 4 out of 10. I'm like, God, get that stick out of your ass, buddy. But yeah, do we really need minigame collections in 2011? Well, yeah, you know, they're fun. But, you know, like to claim that this is just complete and utter dog shit, I think is ridiculous. You may not enjoy it. I think at the very least, Wii Play Motion deserves like a 6. We got Rhythm Heaven Fever, hell yeah. I think this came out in early 2012 here in North America, but in Japan it actually launched in the summer of 2011. This might be like definitive Rhythm Heaven in my opinion. I mean, Mega Mix on the 3DS is amazing, but in terms of like a fully original game, like I think the Wii release is still my favorite. And then we have one final advertisement for the Wii. And then there we go. Yeah, see, the Wii just didn't have like a ton going on in 2011. They were obviously kind of winding things down, you know, especially at this point. Like, I'm sure by the time this catalog got released, like the Wii U had already been announced. Nintendo's priorities were obviously kind of shifting in that direction. But I gotta say, though, there's something about this era that just feels very, just kind of high quality. I don't know, like, just look at the Wii games that released around this time, and like, yeah, they were still putting out some pretty damn high quality stuff. You know, you have the brand new 3DS, which, hell, even during this pitiful year where they barely put out anything for like the first half of the year for this system, you know, I still look back at it and I'm like, damn, the 3DS was really cool. And I think we were all desperately hoping more games would release because, like, we all wanted to just use it. And thankfully that day came where, you know, games actually started to come out. But, you know, I still look back at 2011 with a lot of fondness. You know, it's just something where, you know, you look back at eras in gaming where there's not a lot going on. And in the moment, they really stink. But, you know, looking back in retrospect, you know, I kind of look at it like, damn, it kind of makes you make the most out of, you know, the little games you're getting. Like, if it wasn't for the giant software drought of the 3DS in 2011, you probably would have never opened up the 3DS camera. And ain't that a hoot? All right, well, the only other Japanese Nintendo catalog I have is actually right here. It's the new Nintendo 3DS catalog. It's very short, nothing crazy here. But I thought I might as well just go over it. This is mainly just talking about how you can, you know, stylize and customize your new 3DS. You know, so they gave all the Nintendo characters unique outfits. Even characters that aren't, like, wholly owned by Nintendo. Like, you know, they got Pikachu in here, which is pretty interesting. I did always like that this outfit for Mario was included in Super Mario Odyssey as a costume. I always thought that was really, really cool. And then we go in here. Yeah, all the different faceplates they released. I only have a couple of these, primarily because they didn't really release in North America much. You know, the new 3DS pretty much primarily released via, like, very specific bundles, and those bundles would include, like, 2 faceplates, and that was about it. Like, I know, like, this Isabelle one released here, this Mario one released here, a couple others did. Oh yeah, I think this one did, but I can probably just turn to this page and see all the different ones they had around the launch of the system. Kind of get a better vibe for all of this. The one I pretty much always have on my new 3DS is like the Mario Maker one with all the different 8-bit sprites of all of the characters. And a lot of these are pretty cheap to just import. You can just find a lot of these on eBay. And I do know that there was actually like some, you know, fan-made ones or third-party ones. There's one new 3DS faceplate that looked like a Game & Watch. And that was neat. Yeah, here they're just kind of going over, you know, the basic overview of not only the new 3DS, but the new 3DS XL. So this released around like late 2014 in Japan. Early 2015, we got it outside of that country. But the new 3DS definitely was a welcome upgrade. You know, it didn't like substantially change things, but I think it just made the 3DS a little more, you know, modern as, you know, by 2014, 2015. Yeah, that hardware was definitely a lot slower than I think what we were all used to. You know, smartphones were becoming like a complete mainstay. Everybody owned a smartphone and, you know, they were getting pretty smooth, pretty fast. So, you know, when you'd use like an iPhone and then jump over to your 3DS, it's like, wow, this is taking an absurd amount of time to download Yoshi's New Island. But they advertise that, like, yeah, you can download things faster on here. The super stable 3D. I'm not necessarily sure what they're talking about here. 488. I don't know. Oh, I think it's screen size. Probably like 4.88 inches. Because I know the new 3DS has a slightly bigger screen than the original 3DS as well, so, you know, there's that. Oh, and then they just have all the charts here. I do kind of always like charts like this that shows you, you know, the core differences between everything here. Problem is, I have no idea what they're talking about. Here we have a Q&A. And then the back, roughly like 160 bucks, 190 bucks. The charging cradles, I've always kind of wanted one of these charging cradles. I think this would be really nice. I actually might own one. I kind of forget. Gets to the point, man, it's confusing owning 3DSs. I always like the box here, the fact that it's kind of like, you know, it shows how fun and funky the new 3DS was. They were definitely going for that compared to the new 3DS XL or the LL in Japan, where it's a lot more like, hey, like this is for the serious gamer. But it's pretty obvious to me they were definitely pushing the regular new 3DS in Japan, which is interesting compared to North America, where like they weren't pushing it at all. they were like, they initially were like, we're not even gonna release this damn thing over here. Well, there we go. Those are a couple of Japanese Nintendo catalogs. Who knows, maybe if I, you know, find a couple more, we can jump back in and take a look at some more Japanese Nintendo brochures and whatnot. But I think it's just interesting to see, especially, you know, when you go for, you know, the different years and, you know, different, you know, even like times of year, just seeing like what was being pushed around that time. And most of the time, you know, a lot of it's the same thing. Holiday 2009, they were pushing New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Guess what they were pushing over here? But honestly, even just looking through all this, and it made me aware of a lot of games that I didn't even know these were a thing. Like, damn, there was a Star Fox 64 3D?